Hi, and welcome to the Brisbane Professionals Podcast. This is a podcast brought to you by SMS Law, going through the legal secrets that will benefit you and your clients, as well as having a little bit of fun as we go. This podcast is designed to educate you on number one, complicated legal terms that we will explain in an easy to understand manner. Two, to understand why you do things from a legal perspective in your business. And three, to help you develop a plan for the future success of your business. Our mission is to help empower small to medium-sized businesses around the world to get access to legal advice so that they can help build their communities and make the world a better place. Did you know that any business owner is on average 7 months away from losing everything? That is the average time that it takes from a successful business to fold when an aspect of their business is not set up correctly. This podcast is all about empowering you and your business with knowledge and tools to ensure that that doesn't happen to you or to your clients. Let's begin, shall we?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Brisbane Professional Podcast. Thank you for joining us once again. My name is Craig Mason. I'm from SMS Law, and I have with me Jeremy Stratton from SMS Law. Please say hello, Jeremy.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day.
Indeed, I'm sure they are. We are at least. And our topic for today is an exciting one for lawyers, at least, maybe not for many others, but it's about buying an existing business. So you're thinking about that. It might be a way of expanding, for instance. But there are some, advantages, disadvantages of doing it, and there is a fair bit involved in actually buying an existing business that you mightn't be aware of. So we're going to touch on a few of those things today. We're not going to go on for an hour. We'll keep it short and sweet. So Jeremy, in summary, I guess, what's involved in buying an existing business?
Yeah, I think if we were going to answer that question fully, we'd be here all day. But I think that the most important thing is to really get to know the business that you're buying and how you're going to operate that business. So is it that you're going to buy a business and no team members are going to come across and you're just going to start operating that business? Like how is it going to integrate with what you do now? I think that's probably the most important thing to think about is how it will integrate with your existing business or whatever you do at the moment to make sure that you can operate the thing, because it's an operating business, and if you don't have it in place and those systems in place, then you're going to find it very hard to actually do anything. You also need to think about the structure that you're going to buy the business in. And then you need to think through all of the different things that go into running the business, all of the contracts that the business might have, the phone systems, the internet connections, all of that stuff, all of the suppliers, all of the customers, and really get to understand what it is that you're buying, because it's all about you taking over that and being able to operate the business. We'd use the term as a going concern because it's continuing to operate. So you really need to analyze the business, and it's different from a service business to a retail business to a manufacturing business to a logistics business. So there's all different businesses are going to have different elements to it. So you really need to get in and really understand it deeply, what type of business it is, so that you can make sure that you're buying everything that you need to operate that business going forward. So that's a broad brush of what's involved. And it's really important to talk to your advisors to find out exactly what's involved for your particular type of business. Craig, do you want to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of buying an existing business?
Yeah, absolutely. So advantages are, you're buying a proven model. It's a business that's been running. You know that it's profitable. You've looked at all the numbers, so you know exactly what it is that you're buying. Something that you can work with. You're getting staff with that potentially, as Jeremy said, that I've worked in the business, know the business. You hit the ground running. You're buying existing brand, so you don't have to start from scratch and building up that brand. So yeah, the main advantage is you're buying something, and that's why you're paying money for it. I guess that's the disadvantage. You got to pay money for it. Rather than the alternative to that, I guess, is expanding yourself or starting a business from scratch, which may not cost as much, but you don't have to spend the money on an actual business. So other disadvantages are, and this is where your due diligence comes in, any other hidden things that are existing within that business that you don't find out about, you're stuck with that. You're also stuck with the way the business sort of operates and, agreements with suppliers and how they've engaged with customers in the past. You're you can change it, but you're stuck at least at the beginning with the way it's been operating. And then if you want to change things, then it takes some time, but you're sort of stuck at that beginning part with the way it was. And then you can start bringing in managers or changing the way that you're engaging with people. But at the very beginning, that's what you're stuck with. So yeah, I think they're the main advantages and disadvantages, Jeremy. And then, so what is it that you need to consider in getting value for money and the right price?
Yeah, so this is where you really need to engage with your accountant and financial advisors, because you really need to look at what is the business and the income that that business has received, and what are the future projections of the income that's going to receive, to really work out what that right price is. And then you need to engage with potentially your accountant, maybe your business advisors if you've got a business coach, your lawyer as well, around what's the systems and the processes that they have in place that you're buying, because there's two elements when you work out the purchase price of a business. You've got to work out what the profit is, what the true profit is, because that's the income that you're going to receive. And then that is usually multiplied by what we call the multiple, obviously, because you're multiplying it by. And the multiple is really how many times the true profit of the business is that business worth. And that's determined by how well it runs without the owner of the business involved in it. So the more that the owner's out, the higher that multiple will be. You see the publicly listed companies are 20, 30, 40 times multiples. And that's because they can operate without their owners very well. Whereas a small mum and dad shop, for instance, will have a very low multiple because it usually relies upon those people actually doing the work. Or a professional service. This is the Brisbane Professionals podcast. Often, professional services are very reliant upon the relationship between the professional and their client. And so the multiple will be less. So there's lots of questions to ask there. It depends on the type of business, but you got to make sure you get advice from your whole team. This is the type of thing where you want to get your whole team involved to get you the right advice early on, so that you're not falling into those pitfalls. So Craig, get the whole team involved in that point. But where do people get started, and when should they get at least legal advice on these issues?
I think in terms of starting, it's, as you said, Jeremy, get your team involved, start talking to them, see what experience they've had in buying businesses, get your accountant involved. And then it's probably talking to people like business brokers and those sorts of people that have got businesses for sale, or you can do your own research into competing businesses, for instance, or whatever it might be. So do some research, start talking to as many people as you can. And then in terms of actual legal advice, before you sign a contract, you should be getting advice to make sure the conditions in that to your benefit as well. You'll have in there, or suggest you have in there at least, some form of due diligence, which is what Jeremy was talking about at the beginning, about where you look in under the hood of the business and check out what's going on, because that's the most important part of it. And you definitely need some legal advice, and you definitely need some financial advice during that period of time, because that's where you make a decision whether or not you want to proceed. And you may also, depending on what happens in that due diligence, there might be a price change as well. So it's important to get that advice at that stage, because once you've done it, you're stuck with it. So don't do that. Alrighty, that's it for us today. So that was buying an existing business. As I said, pretty big step, pretty exciting, but definitely some stuff you need to do before you embark on the journey. So get the advice, start talking to your team. All right, Jeremy, anything else you want to add before we sign off for today?
No, I think we've covered it all today.
Excellent. All right, well, let's sign off then. Signing off. And if you do want to follow us, jump on Facebook and get on the SMS Law Facebook page and like us on there. Follow us on Twitter, search for us on LinkedIn. Also, if you are so inclined to give us a review, please do so on your platform that you're getting the podcast, and a rating on there as well would be much appreciated. All right, great. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Signing off. Bye.